You're listening to Filmmakers Drinking Bourbon. Hey, what's up, interwebs? This is Brandon.
And this is Alex.
And we're Filmmakers.
And we're also drinking bourbon.
You got that right, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Speaking of bourbon,
Whoa.
What did I just gulp down there? What is that?
Well, we're trying all bourbons.
Yeah.
From the high end to the low end.
I'm guessing this is the low end.
From the top of the shelf to the bottom of the well.
Bottom of the barrel here. What is this?
This is Ancient Age.
Yeah.
Ancient Age Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And it's carefully distilled along the banks of Kentucky. Bottled in a nice plastic bottle. In a flask, 200 milliliter size for your back pocket.
God, let me see that thing.
I think it's it's all right.
It's
Now let's mention I mixed it up with an old fashioned with aromatic bitters and a little bit of simple syrup. So we've definitely sweetened this.
For sure.
Let's try a straight swig. Pop that top.
Okay,
let's
do it.
let's get in there.
I will just point one thing out that's different. Most of them are aged 8, 9, 12 years.
Yes.
A good amount. This one says, well, let's just put it's in months. Aged at least 36 months. So here we go.
How's that feel straight down the hatch?
Not bad.
Let me try.
Not bad. It's not horrible. It's not bad.
I think we've hit a dangerous area where
It's not bad.
where even this is good.
It's pretty. I mean, you can tell it's cheap.
It's
your truck stop, flask refill. That's what that is.
Truck stop bourbon.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun. It's not bad.
It's in plastic.
It's got a little burn.
It's in plastic.
Yeah,
I think I'm getting some of the plastic aroma that's seeped into the bourbon there.
I wonder, there must be a term for that. We need, we still need to get a bourbon expert on the show who really can break it down.
Some of the plastic seeping
For
in.
sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, that's fun. That's good. Cheers. Let's cheers to that one more time.
I need some of the old-fashioned.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Much
Not
better.
bad.
The bitters and the simple syrup. Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and say, if you have a cheaper bourbon, one that's measured in months, not years, you probably want to go ahead and mix that up.
Yeah.
Maybe make a Manhattan, maybe make an old fashioned, and that's gonna do you all right. So, anyways, all right, man. So clearly,
cool.
You've been drinking bourbon. Clearly,
yeah.
You still got that bottle of was it Booker's?
Booker. I got 2 of them for my wedding.
Nice.
So the first bottle, I'll just call it your bottle, is almost done.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
Wonderful.
Have a glass every night. It's
That's
great.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a little better than this.
Yeah. I finally cracked open my Father's Day present of
Bullet, right?
Bullet.
Yeah.
That stuff's so good.
Was it rye or the?
No, it's the bourbon.
Okay, cool.
It's so good. Which people, again, bourbon is made in America, 51% corn,
A couple other factors.
aged in a single oak barrel.
Yeah.
Now, I've had a couple people still contest it has to be in Kentucky. From what I understand, that is not true.
Not true.
Rye, on the other hand, is made with other stuff
Rye whiskey.
besides 51% corn.
Yeah. Different.
That's all.
Different grains and sugars.
That's all. No big deal. We don't have to fight about this.
It's still good.
It's fine.
Still delicious.
Okay. So what have you been watching, dude?
What have I been watching? Well, the wife. Now I can say that
Yeah,
my wife and I.
Yes. The matrimony has happened.
Yeah. So 2 nights ago, we watched a really cool movie, which I tweeted about it because it was so good.
Awesome.
Called Hector and the Search for Happiness.
Oh, real quick, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is at @AElkinsDP.
There you go.
That's my Twitter.
Connect with Alex so that you can catch up on these things that he tweets out even before the show comes out.
Before the show, you can hear what I'm
It's
watching.
like a sneak preview.
It is. Anyway, at @AElkinsDP says, Hector and the Search for Happiness. Really good movie. Really emotional.
Nice.
Simon Pegg, so normally known for very comedic roles.
Cool.
Still funny, but he plays more of a dramatic part. He's a psychiatrist who has just lost the love of life. And so he sets out on a journey to find what makes people happy.
That's cool.
So hopefully he can bring it back to his patients and help them become happy. But he's really trying to make himself happy.
Gotcha.
And it's just great. He travels all over the world and finds all these happy people that don't necessarily have everything, money, fame, whatever, power, and they're super happy. So
Is this new? A new piece?
Very new. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. It's great. Beautifully shot. Beautifully acted. You'll cry. It's good. Hector and the Search for Happiness.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
What about you?
Oh, man, my wife has had family in from out of town, from Colorado.
Yeah.
So it's been crazy. Every night we've just been family hanging out. My kids hanging out.
Card games and bourbon.
Hanging out with their cousins. Last night I actually set up a Nerf Top Shot with all the kids, and I set up these targets, and they had different rounds, and it got intense, dude.
Did you film it?
No, but it got intense. There was an obstacle course where they had to shoot one cup, like a plastic cup, and then go under the pool table, and then shoot on your knees over the couch. And if you hit that target, you had to flip over the couch onto your belly, and then from your belly shoot another target. It was crazy.
You're teaching these kids to be like Navy SEALs.
It was awesome. So we've been kind of like, taking a break from watching some stuff, but I do always try to stay up to date on what's happening out there. One of the ways I do that is there's a great little blog post that we do at LeapFrame called The Triple Feature.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And I used to run it back in the day, and I've handed that off to our lead editor, Anthony Schneider.
Yeah.
And he runs it now. And so he's always finding really cool stuff and different stuff. And his point of view is a little different, so he likes, different flavors than I do. Mm-hmm. But if you go to leapframe.com, that's LEAPFRAME.
Yep.
.com, and click on the blog section, you'll see some really cool posts. And the Triple Feature always features 3 short videos from the internet, usually Vimeo. And we, make a couple notes on why we like it. And so it's always fun to check on that. So I'll peep in on that and see, what I need to be looking at or what's cool or what Anthony thinks is cool. And there's some other stuff on there as well. Ryan, our motion designer, who was on a past show, he does a feature called The High Five. And he highlights 5 motion design pieces that are trending and very cool.
That's awesome.
So
keeps in his realm. That's
great.
And
so the whole reason we're doing it is so people like our listeners who are in the industry, maybe you don't have time to go see what the most trending video is. Maybe you don't know what's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
You can go to our blog and
find 3 things you might not have seen before.
Yeah, we're highlighting
we're
highlighting other people's work and what's cool. So
I love that. That's right.
Yeah, it's not always about our work.
Are they all narrative? Are they sometimes doc? Are they sometimes branded?
Everything, dude.
Just 3 things that stand out.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that a lot.
So it's fun. So go get on there and check it out, and
we should put that up on the page.
We'll do that.
Yeah, just link to the latest
fdbpodcast.com.
Yeah.
So we'll do it. It's been fun. So what's going on? What have you been jamming on? What have you been working on?
Work.
You've been working or what?
Always work, man. It might not always be shooting work, but there's always work. So I've been revamping the site. I'm always just tweaking that thing.
Always.
But you got to put up, the latest shot stuff. So I, put up a few new music videos that got released. We had one just yesterday, I think. All girl metal band that I shot up in Detroit.
Nice.
Called Conquer Divide for a song called Nightmares.
Sweet.
Pretty sweet. It was a big night setup, exterior. Really cool.
Cool, man.
Did that, put up a couple other music videos, just tweaked it around a bit. And
you saw, obviously last week we talked about posting I'm So Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And Donnie's already got Maserati's got almost 3,000 hits.
Wow. He's
doing crazy.
Good.
It's great.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, people love it.
Does he like it? People like it?
Yeah, it's cool. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I've gotten great response from the sort of the art direction. People really like the portraits.
The realness factor.
Yeah.
You're showing real people from Cincinnati.
They love it.
That's awesome, man.
So it's cool. It's a lot of fun. It's cool to see that, it's cool to see people talk about something you do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You talked about reel. What are your thoughts? You've done this for a long time. Our listeners are out there, maybe they're getting ready to cut their reel. Maybe they're revamping their reel. How often do you update your reel? Well, I know the answer to this. You update your reel every day. But realistically? What do you think is...
Realistically, I put out like a new, I'll proclaim it and be like, hey, check out my new reel, blah, blah, blah. Probably every 6 months.
Sure.
I'll do a beginning of the year one that features all the good work from last year, and then halfway through the year, or maybe towards the end of it, now-ish, maybe in a month or two, I'll put out another one that's
updated work.
Yeah, with all the new stuff from the year.
Okay. Yeah, I usually do one a year.
Yeah.
I haven't done one this year yet.
You should. You got a bunch of new stuff.
I haven't had time to
bunch
do
of
it,
stuff.
But I think definitely minimally you want to go yearly.
Yearly.
But I do think if you do shoot a ton, like Alex does, then I get doing maybe 2.
But I mean, again, between the big posts and the hey, here's the new reel.
Sure.
I'll go through and swap out a clip, or if I've just shot something really cool that I think is a better representation of my current abilities as a cinematographer, I'll pop in the new clip or the new project. I won't necessarily announce it.
Yeah.
But just so once I pass it off to potential clients or people that are going to hire me, they get a better sense of who I am.
Cool. Let's do like a reel call. Let's do a reel call. Is that a thing?
Reel call?
Not a roll call, but a reel call.
Reel call.
So to all the listeners out there who've tuned in, you guys are part of the family. You guys have been with us now for going on 9 episodes. We want to see your work. So send us your reels. And we'll get them and we'll post them. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
Maybe next episode.
For sure.
At some point.
Send them.
At some point, we're going to say, hey, here's some reels. Here's what we liked. Here's what we loved.
Absolutely.
Maybe throw out some shout outs and stuff.
Maybe pick a couple and put them up on the site.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Reel call.
Reel call.
REEL.
REEL. Like a film reel.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Perfect.
cool, man.
Well, what about you? What have you been working on?
Dude, I have been in the woods. I've been in the farmlands.
Really? You like?
Yeah, dude.
You out there on like a spiritual search or something?
Well, kinda. So Anthony is friends with some girls from a small boutique brand here in Northern Kentucky,
Anthony's
Cincinnati.
friends with girls.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they have a little shop called Grainwell, Grainwell. Look it up.
I like it.
And they do these really cool like wood carving things. They go out and they find barnwood and they bring it back to the shop and they cut it and they spec it. They have a laser cutter.
Wow.
They make things that say, I love Ohio, I love New York. They do custom cuttings. They do things that say, bourbon.
So it's general woodworking.
Kinda, but it's like decor. It's kind of like little, decor
art
stuff.
pieces?
Yeah, stuff you hang on your wall, little things, planters.
So not like chairs and stuff.
No, it's totally cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And it's really neat, sort of their process, and we wanted to, to help them. They're friends of Anthony's, and we kind of have some.
So all female shop.
Yeah, they're actually adorable. Wow. They're 3 girls. Yeah, they're cute as can be. 3 girls, cute as can be.
Women, I would say.
I don't know. They're so young. Well, yeah, they're in their 20s. Women.
Oh, wow.
Women.
Oh, cool.
Is that offensive? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
ladies.
They're women.
Ladies.
They're ladies.
3 women.
3 ladies.
3 ladies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can never get it right. Either way, 3 young women.
3 females.
3 young women.
Yeah, there you go.
Who are all fashionable, adorable, great personalities, and they all are sisters.
Wow.
So it's this cool little, it's a cool little story, and one of them's sort of like the designer. She works an illustrator. The other one's like more like, in the wood shop, and the other one is working the storefront, marketing. Social media.
That's perfect.
And they're cool. And so we sat down and we talked about kind of what would work for like a mutually beneficial sort of setup, and part of it is us making sort of a brand documentary, like a brand commercial for them, to capture the essence of this idea that their brand is family, but it's also there's this element of like female empowerment. These business owners, these young women are business owners, but yet they're also like super fashionable and pretty, and so it's like, how do you show that? And so we went out and got up at 3. Our call time was 4 o'clock.
Good.
5 o'clock.
Were you trying to catch sunrise?
Yeah, it was a 5 o'clock call time.
Yep.
So we woke up at 3 a.m. and I picked up Anthony at 4. We had to drive an hour. We arrived on location. dense fog, crazy fog.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even, I was driving 5 miles an hour. You could not see where you're going. And, we waited for the sun to rise and kind of get where we wanted it to be. And we were going to set up this big drone shot using the Phantom 2.
Yeah.
We were all set up. We were all ready to go. I calibrate the Phantom. I get, all my satellites are calibrated. We're ready to go.
Sure,
everything's feeling good.
Yeah.
We got the GoPro Hero 4. We got it linked up to my iPhone. We get the settings, synced up. We were shooting. We shot 10. It's going to end up being 1080. We just ended up shooting 1080, and we shot at 60 frames per second.
Gorgeous.
The whole thing we shot in 60.
Sun come through the fog
on the GoPro and the C100 Mark II.
Oh, cool.
All 60. And so here comes, sort of our moment. We're feeling good about it, and battery dies.
Oh.
And it was like fresh batteries. I don't know what happened. It was crazy.
Some in the atmosphere.
I don't know. So we panic. We say, oh my gosh, let's grab the C1, let's grab the slider, let's get something while the sun's rising.
Yeah.
And luckily I packed, and I highly recommend all listeners, pack a power converter plug to have in the car. So I was able to, with AC,
12, yeah.
I was able to throw the batteries on charge. So we got our shot with the slider, with their truck. They're driving this pickup truck, going to pick up this barnwood. We got the shot with the slider, and then I got enough charge on the batteries that we were able to run back, grab the batteries, and get the drone up.
Oh, wow.
So we get the drone up. There's dense fog everywhere. And I'm flying the drone. I think I've got the shot. And then all of a sudden, I lose connection with the drone.
Oh, no.
And I can't see it. It's gone. It is gone.
Yeah.
Well, luckily,
it's going to come crashing down.
Luckily, most drones these days have a homing sort of mechanism where when they lose connection or they flip out or whatever, they come home.
Come back to home base.
So next thing I know, we're waiting, and then all of a sudden we see the flashing lights, and it starts.
You hear the bzzz.
Yeah, it starts flying home. It went into home mode.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't that we flew it that far away, but I think what happened was the moisture in the air. I think they have a moisture sensor.
It could be.
And it panicked, and it came back. Actually, Anthony had to grab it out of the air because the grass was so high in the field we were in.
Yeah, you'd lose it.
So we grabbed it. We waited. We let it dry out, and we were able to get the shot. And we flew a couple again.
Wow.
So
very cool. Turn out.
Yeah.
You think you got something?
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It was a lot of fun. We got some great stuff, and we're looking forward to being able to share that piece. So
that sounds really neat.
I love this music that's jamming out right now.
Yeah, if you guys can't hear this, we can for sure. We got a neighbor upstairs at the Leap Frame Studios over here who does guitar lessons.
Yeah, Nick Tuttle. He's super cool.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And whoever's taking lessons right now is really good.
They're jamming it out.
But today they decided they were going to tap the crap out of their foot.
Yeah. It's like a bluesy, folky.
Or a boof, boof. Yeah. Boof, boof. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, okay.
So, yeah, it's been fun, man. That was a really cool project, and now it's in post. And,
sweet.
Hopefully it's going to have this really cool sort of gun and garden lifestyle.
Yeah.
Sort of fashion meets home decor meets
Wrangler.
Female empowerment.
You know what that reminds me of? Just, I don't know, you talking about that, the whole female fashion-y maker thing. Is that Makerwear commercial we did a long time ago?
Yeah.
It's kind of the maker movement.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that built into it, but it might feel like a little bit like the Levi's
Wrangler.
Yeah, there's
farm aesthetic. I dig it.
There's something in there.
They have a website. You can see their stuff.
Grainwell? I think it's grainwell.com.
I'm sure they're on Facebook and stuff.
Well, they're on Instagram for sure, and
okay.
it's at Grainwell_.
Is that GRAINWELL? _.
Yeah.
Grainwell. Check them out. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
To link up and look at their work.
There's a huge issue though, dude. Maybe you can help me out. So we get the footage back in. We shot everything 60 frames per second.
On GoPro or C1?
On the C100.
C100.
Mark II.
Okay.
The light's gorgeous, right? Magic hour. I mean, everything's hitting home. Everything's feeling great.
Yeah.
Obviously, we couldn't totally check playback because the C100 Mark II doesn't play back at 60.
Yeah, I think
it just plays back normal or whatever.
For sure.
So we get it into Premiere, and we notice some weirdness, like some blurriness, some
blurry.
Sort of. It was mainly on the fast stuff, like when the truck drove by.
It was blurry at 60 frames. Like motion smearing.
Kind
motion
of.
blur.
Yeah, it was a little goofy.
What shutter were you shooting at, do you know?
I think we were shooting at like 60.
1/60th of a second? At 60 frames?
Is that not good?
No.
What? What happened?
Minimum, so you're sub 180 degree shutter at that point. So you're going to get lots of smearing and motion blur. Minimum, you should have been rocking a 1/120th of a second shutter to get 180 degrees.
So
proper
2 times.
2 times, yeah. So you're definitely going to get smearing if you do that. That might have been the issue there.
Well, that makes sense because obviously you normally shoot 48 when you're shooting 24.
Exactly. Doubled it.
I don't know, for some reason, man. I thought you told me at one point that when you shoot 60, you're at 60.
No, I would never say that.
Damn it.
That might be the problem.
That's what happens when you don't have a DP on set. This was one of those pro bono jobs, and we were kind of doing it ourselves. We got some good shots, though.
Okay. Well, you can go for some sort of a dreamy aesthetic or something.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks a little more dreamy. And there's definitely great shots in there. Yeah. It's just whenever stuff is moving really fast, it looks a little...
smearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have been at 1/120th, if not higher.
Okay, well, I mean, while we're on the topic, why don't we just break that down for the listeners?
For sure.
There's some people who are super advanced, who are, listening to the show, and there's people who are just getting into it. So let's talk about it. Shutter speed versus shutter angle. What's going on?
Yeah, so shutter angle, say you want normal rendition of movement and blurring and all that jazz. You typically, for cinema applications and anything, want to be at 180 degrees shutter angle.
Okay, and that's to kind of be like the human eye?
For kind of the human eye type blurring. So when something goes past you, it blurs a little bit, and it's not too smeary, like the things you're saying on the 1/60th.
Okay.
So 180 degrees. There's a whole calculation for it. It's super easy. You can find it online. We can post it on the site, fdbpodcast.com. You can check it out. But if you're shooting at 24 frames, you want to be at 1/48th of a second. So say you're shooting on a DSLR.
Okay, but you just said angle, and now you're telling me seconds.
Exactly.
So give me the difference between an angle and a second, because that's a different measurement.
So the angle is always that. You shoot it at 180 degrees at 24 frames. Cool. You switch the camera to 60 frames, it's still going to be at 180 degrees. It's going to be
when
there.
you do the conversion,
to shutter
quote,
speed.
Shutter speed.
Yes. So if you're on a DSLR, or pretty much a lot of cameras nowadays, a lot of Canons, Sony are pretty much always in shutter speed for some reason.
Okay.
It's completely different. It's dependent on your frame rate.
And shutter speed is a lot more prevalent with stills.
Yeah.
You're shooting stills, and you're like, hey, I want to capture this waterfall, and I want to freeze it in time, so I'm going to shoot at a faster
3,000th
shutter speed. Yes. So in general, am I okay? And again, I'm a director first and a shooter second. Mm-hmm. My understanding is that faster the shutter speed, it's going to be choppier, but you can also kind of freeze time, right? Like if a ceiling fan's spinning at a high shutter speed, you can kind of get it still.
Yes, you can match the speed.
And if you shoot at a lower shutter speed, like say 60, 40, 80 or whatever, it's going to be more blurry.
Here's a good way to put it, because people have seen this movie, Saving Private Ryan.
Great
movie. Beach landing sequence. Everything's sharp and choppy, and you can see every particle of dirt that flies up when a bomb hits.
Correct.
Very high shutter speed, very low shutter angle. So I think they shot the thing at a 45-degree shutter angle.
Right.
Which would, in the math, be considered a high shutter speed.
Got it.
Like 1/450th or whatever.
So there's a correlation.
Absolutely. Shutter angle is absolute. It's always what it is. Set your camera at 180 degrees, doesn't matter what frame rate you're at, it's always going to be 180 degrees.
Absolutely.
But there's also, depending on your frame rate, a mathematical equivalent to a shutter speed.
So if I would have had my camera set to shutter angle 180, I would have had zero problems.
Zero.
Because the math would have already happened, and it would have said, "Oh, you need to be at 120."
Exactly.
Because you're at 60.
But here's a good way to think about it for anybody. If you're shooting on a DSLR or anything, and you're using shutter speed, and you want the 180-degree shutter angle, you want realistic rendition of movement and motion.
Okay. What's the equation?
And you're shooting at you take your frame rate,
So 24.
Say 24. You
Let's
double.
say 30.
Say 30. Double
Yeah,
it.
I'm shooting at 30.
Double your frame rate.
Okay.
60.
60.
Put a 1 over it.
1
over 60. That should be your shutter speed. You're shooting at 48 frames a second because you want a little slow-mo. 1 over 96.
What if I'm shooting 120?
If you're shooting 120 frames a second, 1 over 240. And you double it, you put a 1 over it, that gives you the supposed realistic rendition.
All right.
Realistic,
There you have it.
There you go.
Shutter angle, shutter speed.
But when proper and when you can do it, I recommend just using shutter angle because it's so much easier.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
That's good. Thanks for the tip, buddy.
There you go, man.
Wow. The Alex Elkins tip of the day.
There you go. Shutter angle.
But, and again, we'll move on to the next thing, but the one thing that I love about the C100, and I know there's other cameras that have this, but man, having that built-in ND
killer
is unbelievable.
It's
I mean, you
useful.
can just rock all day, and as the sun changes, you just pivot and you just flip that switch, and bam, you adjust. Bam, you adjust.
For
and
sure.
it's just super helpful.
And that brings up another point. Going back to shutter angle, shutter speed, I think a lot of people make the mistake of compensating for exposure changes with the shutter versus doing it with the ISO or with NDs.
Sure. Well, all right. Well, if we're gonna get into it, let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay. So
if we're gonna get dirty, let's get dirty. So what? Why? Okay. So we delved into shutter speed, shutter angle.
Yeah. Here you go. So here's an example. Say you're at you're shooting. It's a cloudy day.
Okay.
You're properly exposed. You're at 24 frames, and you're shooting at 1/48th of a second shutter.
Okay.
Everything looks great. All of a sudden,
what are we? F-stop. What are we at? We're 2.8.
Say you're at a 4.
Okay.
Right. Okay. You're at 4. You don't want to whatever. You're just at you're a 4. F4, 24 frames, 1/48th of a second. ISO's whatever because it's right. Okay. You're properly exposed. All of a sudden, the clouds clear up and the sun pops out, and now you're way overexposed. Blown out. Some people.
You've got options.
You do have options, but some people will make the mistake of cranking up the shutter speed in order to compensate for it.
Sure.
Which, the higher your shutter speed goes, the
choppier
more light loss you have.
And the choppier your footage gets.
But the choppier, so you end up looking like Saving Private Ryan when you're filming a corporate interview outside, and it's just not appropriate.
Correct.
So in any case, they should use NDs or lower their ISO.
Okay, so let's say you don't have ND.
Or their f-stop.
You don't have ND.
Yeah.
So would you go, if your shutter speed, you want to be at 180.
Yep.
So if you're shooting 24,
you're at 148.
You're at 148.
Yep.
So you're like, I'm not going to screw that up.
No.
But I'm blown out because of the sun.
Yeah.
Is your first move to go f-stop or ISO?
Depends on where my ISO is at. On all cameras, there's a sweet spot, a native ISO range.
The C100 is like 850.
It's 850, yeah. So that gives you an equal amount of stops over and an equal amount of stops under.
Correct.
I think for that, it's like 6.5 and 6.5.
Many times it's noted by brackets on your camera. There'll be
Yes.
like brackets like, hey, this is the sweet spot.
Exactly.
Do you know all the sweet spots for all the cameras?
Most of them, yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Anyway.
What's the Alexa
We're
sweet
not going to
spot?
get in. 800.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's, you sacrifice certain things by doing lower or higher ISOs.
That's cool.
So anyway, but that gives you the best dynamic range. So you don't want to really mess with that. I don't, at least. So my first, if I don't have NDs, my first is to go to aperture. Go for it.
Real quick.
Go
Let's
ahead.
not jump on this. If I crank up or drop down my ISO, what's going to be the adverse effect? Is that going to affect grain factor, right?
Yeah, ISO will affect grain. You'll get less grain, less noise, I'll say.
The lower
most
you
cameras.
go.
You lower the ISO, you get less noise.
The higher you crank it, the more you get.
Yes. But if you choose to lower your ISO to compensate for overexposure, you're also losing highlight range. You're losing stops in your highlights.
Gotcha.
So it shifts towards the shadows. So you see more into the shadows, but your highlights start clipping really fast.
Yeah.
So if you go below the sweet spot and you're outside, you're going to lose your highlights really quick. So that's why if I don't have access to NDs, the first thing is, okay, you just close down the lens.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're at a F16 or 8 or
Yep.
32 or whatever. So your depth of field is affected, you see more into the distance,
Right.
but you retain the information, the highlights, and you don't look like you're Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Cool.
I understand it. Hopefully our listeners do.
Yeah.
And there's some great tutorials out there. I know
for sure.
Linda and other places deal with the issues of it's like a triangle, right? Like a trifecta: shutter speed, ISO, and aperture.
Yep. What do you change in order to achieve a certain thing?
I think we may have delved into a how-to.
Which we said we should.
This might be a how-to podcast.
No, it's a valuable.
It's a lesson.
Thing. It's
lesson
a
learned.
life lesson.
It's a life lesson. Nice.
Either way, don't lower your shutter speed in order to do that, because you'll get a dreamy effect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cool.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's fun. So, all right. So, what else is going on, man? What are you stoked about? What's up with you? You pumped about anything right now?
I've been talking to. So I finished 2 short films, one of which we talked about last
and we
episode.
Posted the trailer on fdbpodcast.com.
Yeah, we did. Daniel
Hope you
Siri.
guys enjoyed it.
So that got a lot of positive feedback.
Great.
And then I finished another one, Eddie. It's called Eddie, with Brad Gollowin, who we still have to have on the show.
You're a music video guy.
Music video guy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he actually hollered at me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think me and him are on the same page when it comes to superhero movies.
Good for you guys. I'm pretty sure he likes Christopher Nolan films.
So, but
Anyway.
we love it when you guys interact with us. I'm at Brandon Ferris, and you already shared yours earlier.
At A. Elkins DP.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, so him and I did a short film in one day. We shot it in like 20 hours, 19 hours.
19-hour film festival.
19-hour film festival. Not intentionally, just because we could only afford to rent a camera and lights and stuff for one day, and that's all the film called for, really. But I've been talking to both Brad Gollowin and Adam Mark Brown, both the directors of the shorts, about festival stuff, and that's just something that none of us know really anything about. So we're doing all this research about how to go about entering festivals, what festivals to enter, what to expect, how much it's going to cost, all that jazz. And I don't know, it's confusing. There's so much out there. And that's something maybe our listeners know a little more about than I do. Maybe you can school me.
Well, I'll tell you what I think should happen is we need to have a festival show.
Yeah.
We've got some friends on Twitter who always are helping us out promoting stuff, etc. with the Liftoff Film Festival.
Yeah, for sure.
London and LA and stuff. I bet we can get them on the show.
That would be great. They can give some insight, from a festival perspective on what they look for.
What's the length? Do you want to be at 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? I know that most festivals, 72 minutes is a feature.
Yep.
72 and up is a feature. 72 and below is a short, typically.
You don't want to be on the high end of that short
But there's
range.
a sweet spot in there because it's all about programming.
Yep.
What can they fit into the programming? So we've been in a couple of film festivals with the documentary challenge with Hot Docs
up in Toronto,
and that's been cool. But yeah, I think this is we could scratch the surface on it, but I think this is reserved for a whole show.
We need an expert. Yeah, we need somebody to come in and give us their view.
Well, let's do that. We're going to go ahead and commit to you listeners. We're going to bring you a show all about festivals.
Yes.
We're going to get an expert, and you're going to leave the show with everything you need to know on how to position your film to get accepted to a festival.
Maybe not everything, but a better understanding.
No, everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Man, that's ambitious. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
I'll cheers you to that.
We're going to do that for sure.
We'll get you a festival expert.
Yeah, man. So, I'm excited about some stuff.
What are you excited about?
I am actually pretty excited. One of the things that I love about the industry is that everybody's connected, and I love being able to share people's wins and successes and that
giant
sort of stuff.
family.
Yeah, and so a part of the Filmmakers Drinking Bourbon family is a guy named Ben Mullins.
Yeah,
Ben Mullins,
I know
and
who
he actually designed our logo and our artwork in the iTunes store, which you're probably familiar with. It's got a nice little script font, and
it's great.
It looks
it's
old-timey.
Old-fashioned. I mean, it's
it's cool.
Perfect.
And so we're totally indebted to him for that. And but I'm super excited. He's got some really cool stuff happening. First off, you got to follow him on Twitter and Instagram. He is at B Mully. That's BEE, like a bumblebee. Mully, MULLY. At B Mully. He's awesome. He's always posting cool stuff, cool doodles. This guy can get a pen and a paper and draw anything, and he's really cool. He's always doing cool stuff around the office with chalk on the walls, and so
that's what I've seen.
He's got a really cool Tumblr. It's tumblr.com/blog/Ben Mullins.
Sweet.
Ben Mullins. So check out Ben Mullins. He's got a really cool thing happening right now on cottonbureau.com where you can get on there and buy custom T-shirts. He's got a really cool T-shirt he designed with like a little 10-speed bike on it.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. So if you're into bikes, if you're into that sort of thing and culture, hit up Cotton Bureau, cottonbureau.com, and you want to look for a shirt called Clean Lines, Clean-Lines, and that's going to be his little ditty.
Sweet, man.
So that's cool. So I'm excited for that.
Is it a competition or?
I don't know. I think it's like a thing. You just post it and you buy it.
It's a deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, congrats. Yeah, we need to help him out.
Yeah, he's dope. So I like being able to talk and share those sorts of things, and I'm excited about
Ben Mullins.
Yeah, the other thing I'm excited about is we're gonna have some new T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have Filmmakers Drinking Bourbon T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to talk any more about it. I'm just going to tease it. And they're going to be awesome. And we're going to have giveaways.
I don't even think you should just say T-shirts. You should say swag.
There's going to be swag.
We're going to have FDB swag.
There might be
more than T-shirts.
There might be really nice coasters for you to set your bourbon on.
But there might not be. We're just, we're
hypothetically,
right now.
There could be some really nice swag.
There might be. There might not.
And so my thought is, if we do have nice swag, how cool would it be to have our filmmaker friends take pictures, selfies, what they call them these days.
Do they?
On set.
Ooh.
Imagine all these selfies on set with people rocking the Filmmakers Drinking Bourbon brand and being a part of the family. Basically, it's a way to say, I'm cooler than you.
FDB.
A lot of people aren't cool, but the ones wearing the T-shirt are going to be considered cool.
No, they're all cool. All our listeners are cool.
No, I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Non-listeners.
Yeah.
They're not cool.
They'll know what's up.
I like non-listeners.
They just got to get introduced to the show.
Yeah, that's how we get new listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, non-listeners. I apologize.
They're fine.
I didn't mean to.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. So
our listeners will spread the gospel.
Speaking of listeners, we got a good Ask Me Anything mail guy.
Our mail segment. Yeah.
So one of our listeners, Unsung Hero Media.
Unsung Hero Media.
See, finally, somebody who's not anonymous.
There you go.
We like it when you're not anonymous. We like when you're a person.
Tell us who you are.
Unsung Hero Media.
What's he have to say?
Says
he or she.
I'm pretty sure it's he.
Okay.
Says, hey guys, I listened to the pilot episode and I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
Going back to episode 1. That's a while ago.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Definitely going to binge the rest of the episodes to catch up.
Please do.
That's nice.
Binge the episodes, not the bourbon.
Exactly. We do not promote alcoholism.
Yep.
We promote enjoying a nice, friendly glass of bourbon.
What's good is that you can drink a glass of bourbon while you binge all of our episodes.
Maybe you might need 2 or 3 glasses of bourbon to get through them all.
Yeah. Don't try to keep up with us, though.
Yeah. Don't try to do it. He says, I've been shooting with a Nikon D750.
Nice.
You know the sweet spot on that camera?
I do not. Can't say I do.
Since the start of the year. As far as superhero movies go, tag on it. People love this debate we got going on.
I want to hear what he has to say.
I'm kind of a sheep, and I go see most of the opening weekend films. He says, although Marvel movies are starting to get exhausting.
I could agree with that.
Some of my favorites in the superhero comic book genre are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1991.
The original.
That's pre what's her name?
Who?
The girl,
Megan Fox?
Yeah, that's pre-Megan Fox.
Pre-Michael Bay
Yeah.
produced. Yeah.
The Watchmen,
Ooh, I like this guy.
The Crow,
I like this guy.
The Dark Knight.
I like this guy.
So he's into the dark. He wants
Good.
to get dark.
He's like me. He likes
Yeah.
a little bit of drama in his
Yeah.
superheroes. Watchmen's fantastic.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. So so you never shot on that Nikon? What is that thing?
I have not. No, it's a DSLR.
Right
Yeah.
on.
So no, I don't know the sweet spot on. I'm not very well versed in Nikon gear. So
Yeah.
that's
I was
not my
looking
deal.
at a little Nikon. This is totally not like this is total amateur, but it's kind of a cute little guy.
You're looking at a cute thing.
Yeah, it's cute.
Oh, that's nice.
The little Nikon 1J5.
No idea what that is.
It's like a little hipster camera. It's just cool.
Oh, so
I don't know,
does it
it's
look
cool.
old school then?
Yeah, it looks old school.
Of
It's
course.
micro 3/4,
4/3.
4/3.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I might buy it.
Do it. What do you? Yeah, just for family
Well,
stuff.
yeah.
and-
Not only that, but it's just kind of cool. Maybe shoot some stock footage on it. It shoots 60 frames per second at
Ooh,
1080.
Wow.
It's little. You could take it on vacation and grab a couple shots and
Yeah.
some 60 frames, B-roll for
Nice.
stock footage.
Nikon does have a good reputation.
The only
so.
thing is that the lenses, I think most of the lenses are like f3, f4.
Yeah. Well, don't the stock ones. Yeah. If you get it, don't get stock lenses.
Yeah.
Go for something a little better.
They have some little primes that are like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, 1.8? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got
That's
some like
cool.
1.8 primes.
Micro
But the whole
4/3,
thing with the
that's cool.
micro 4/3 is like that there's another equation involved. We just talked equation
Crop
with
factor.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
The 2.0 crop factor.
Yeah, they're telling me this lens is like a 10 millimeter, and I'm like, whoa, that's
Super
pretty
but
wide.
It's not. It's actually a 20.
Can we talk about that?
We
Can
can.
we talk? Do we got time to talk about another equation?
You always got time. Time is on my side.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah.
Let's
So
let's
crop
knock that
factor.
out while we're into it. This is like our math episode.
So, most lenses are manufactured to cover a 35 millimeter full frame gate.
Is 35 millimeter in full frame synonymous?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
that's all I need to know.
a 35 millimeter camera,
Yep.
those lenses, say you have a 50 millimeter lens designed for 35 millimeter camera. Sometimes you'll see APS-C
Yes.
lenses and cameras, and that means they're a crop sensor, or the lenses are made for a crop sensor.
Okay.
Either way, okay. Trying to figure out how to explain this.
Yeah.
So say you have a 35 millimeter lens,
Yes.
35 millimeter lens, meant for a 35 millimeter camera.
Yep.
On certain sensors, different sensors, if it's a smaller sensor, the angle of view through the lens is altered.
Okay. So I can see less of what's there.
Yes, it almost as if you're zooming in.
Got it.
Okay. So on a full frame camera, that 35 millimeter lens will
Yep.
have a 35 millimeter angle of view.
Mm-hmm.
On a micro 4/3 sensor camera with a 2.0 crop factor,
Yep.
smaller sensor,
Got it.
that lens's angle will
Yes.
be magnified by a factor of 2.
Okay.
So a 35 millimeter times 2 is
70.
70. Correct. You get a piece of candy. Winner.
So now,
So now it's more of a
I'm
telephoto
shooting with a
portrait lens.
70.
yes. So now it's you see,
But when I buy the camera and I buy the micro 4/3 lens, it says it's a 30.
what do you mean?
It says it's a 30 millimeter.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the math.
Could be a 60.
So why wouldn't they rate the lenses on micro 4/3 to go ahead and do the conversion so you know in your head, oh, what I'm really getting is a 70 on a 35?
Because they manufacture those lenses to be cross-platform. So they want to sell one lens that will be you can put on a wide range of bodies, right?
Okay.
There are companies that make lenses specifically for micro 4/3,
Sure.
specifically for 16 millimeter.
Got it.
For APS-C, Canon, 70s.
Is there a conversion chart or site? How do people know if somebody's getting into the game and buys a Blackmagic Mini, the little pocket?
Yeah.
and they're like, I want, what they're used to is they're used to shooting with 24-70.
Yeah, and so they slap that on, all of a sudden it's zoomed in really far, and they're like, what is
what's going on? Where can they go to get the conversion rate to make that easy?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. But what I will tell you is that I will find it out, and there's a site, I've seen it, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe we'll find it.
We'll find it. We'll put it on fdbpodcast.com. Okay. You can check it out, and it'll show you the sensor size, the crop factor, what the equivalent focal length is. So if you slap a 20 millimeter on the Blackmagic Pocket, you're going to get a X.
So if I buy a Blackmagic Pocket or a Micro Four Thirds camera to be small and mobile and fun,
yes,
I don't necessarily need to freak out when the only lens I can get is a 30 to 110.
No.
Like, it's not going to be like or if it's a 10 millimeter lens, it's not going to be like this crazy fisheye.
No. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to take all those factors into account. So
We'll
10 millimeters is going to be 20.
Yeah, do a little math.
Yeah. We'll put the stuff up there on fdbpodcast.com. It's a whole crazy different game. I mean, now that we're in the digital realm.
How do you feel about the 4/3?
It's good. It's a versatile sensor.
There's a time and a place, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially there's a company, I will say this, there's a company called Metabones.
Yep.
Metabones.
They make those little converters, right?
Speed boosters and converters and adapters.
Boosters.
So they'll make a little adapter that will convert or adapt Canon lenses to your, say, Panasonic GH4 body. But what they'll also do is project the lens onto a different image circle piece of glass, which projects it on the sensor, which you get the same angle of view as you would on a full-frame camera. It's hard to explain, but what they do, it just adapts it and it magnifies it or widens it or whatever it does. Does some magic.
Some physics.
It does some physics-y,
they tap into
magic-y
Albert
stuff.
Einstein.
Yeah, I think aliens might have made it or something.
Other guys. Okay.
Newton.
Cool. So, well, that's cool. That's good to know because there's a time and a place. We had a project.
For sure.
We had a project where we were shooting on the Red One.
Yeah.
But we needed an overhead shot, and we did not have the camera support to throw up a 70-pound.
I remember
build, right?
I was there. Yeah.
And so we broke out the Pocket Blackmagic, and it worked great
with a super wide lens.
Yeah, and by the time we got into color correction, it matched up, and it was good.
They're great.
All right.
There's a time and a place for everything. Every lens. Time and a place. You just like my song references now, don't you? Yeah.
Well done.
Anyway.
So, well, cool, man. Well,
we'll throw that info up on the site. You guys can check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I feel like there's been a lot of math today. This is
if
good.
You're a lens manufacturer and you listen to the show, chime in and tell us why.
Absolutely.
And how,
well, not only that, but if you're listening to the show and you work for, camera company, lens company, et cetera, whatever, and we would love to get our hands on some stuff.
We'll test it for you.
I mean,
I'll do it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm not going to bring this up, but we've got something awesome coming up in the month of September.
You shouldn't have said it.
I know. I've already said too much.
Yeah, you've already said too much, but he's right.
There's
some big stuff. There's multiple things.
Badass.
Multiple things.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Things that people dream about.
But be prepared.
Get ready.
Get ready.
It's going to be awesome.
Going to be awesome.
Cool.
Anyway.
Hey, it's been fun, man.
It has. We're at the bottom of the glass. I think we should,
for real.
have it on. Cheers. Cheers, buddy.